People used to believe that the sun revolved around the earth. This theory was known as the geocentric model. A man whose name is Nicolause Copernicus nominated an opposing thesis that in fact the earth revolved around the sun, suggesting that the sun was the center of the universe. In time, this will be known as the heliocentric model. Nicolause Copernicus was born in a country named Prussia on February 19, 1473. Copernicus was born into a very wealthy family. Therefore, he had access to the best education that someone during that time period could receive. After his father's death, Nicolause Copernicus went to an elite school in Poland. There, Copernicus studied the arts and math. In October of 1497, Nicolause Copernicus moved to Italy, where he became an assistant to an astronomer named Domenico Maria Novara da Ferrara. As Nicolause Copernicus started to bring forth the idea of the heliocentric model, he began to solve several of the problems that the geocentric model had presented. One of these problems was that if the geocentric model was true, then all the other planets in our solar system would change their luminosity. Despite common beliefs, Nicolause Copernicus did not influence the Protestant Reformation.
Copernicus didn't have very much of a connection with the Protestant Reformation because he was Catholic in a Catholic country and in a Catholic diocese.
Nicolause Copernicus began writing his lifetime work, The Revolutions of Heavenly Spheres. In his book, he wrote about the three motions of our Earth. The first motion is the rotation of day and night. The second motion is the yearly motion. The second motion suggested that the Earth revolved around the sun about every 365 days. That brings us up to our third motion, the tilting of the Earth's axis. A full rotation is also about 365 days. Nicolause Copernicus, one of the world's greatest astronomers, was on his deathbed. He did not want to publish his lifetime work. A friend came to visit Copernicus and convinced him to publish his book. After Nicolause Copernicus agreed, on May 24th of 1543, he died. After Nicolause Copernicus passed away, his book still did not have an immediate impact. It was not until almost 70 years later, the year of 1616, that the church banned the book. A man named Galileo Galilei, who was born on February 15th, 1564, also believed in heliocentrism. During Copernicus's time, there was no such thing as a telescope. Galileo is credited for creating the first modern telescope. Galileo is also credited for proving the theory of the heliocentric model. In 1623, Galileo Galilei published his book called Dialogue Concerning Two Chief World Systems. He wrote his book in a form of the discussion between three people. One person in his book believed in Copernicus's heliocentric model. One person was neutral to it, and one person was against the theory. Galileo never mentioned in his book which side he supported. However, it is said that he hinted that the heliocentric model was correct. The church had a quick reaction to Galileo's work. Galileo was told to come to Rome. There he had a trial that lasted from September 1632 to July of 1633. During his trial, Galileo was not imprisoned, but he was slightly shunned from the community. When Galileo would not admit to believing in heliocentrism, the church threatened him with torture. This broke Galileo. He confessed he believed in heliocentrism and had withheld facts to prove that the sun was the center of our universe. He faced house arrest. Galileo was not allowed visitors or was not allowed to publish any more books. Galileo had some visitors in secret, and he published versions of that book in several different languages. At this point, Galileo was blind and very ill. He could not get a doctor to come and treat him. Galileo Galilei died on January 8th, 1642. His book had a huge impact. People, ordinary citizens, were starting to see the proof of heliocentrism. The theory that Nicolause Copernicus came up with so many years ago. The church remained standing by their geocentrism. It was not until over 100 years later that the church lifted the ban on most books discussing heliocentrism. In 1835, the church stopped opposing the theory altogether. Nicolause Copernicus started something called the Copernican Revolution. Nicolause Copernicus's theory, the heliocentric model, did not get accepted by the Catholic Church until 1998, when the Pope publicly praised Galileo for his work. Nicolause Copernicus exchanged the idea of heliocentrism with the world. Until the early 1600s, they never considered the heliocentric model being true. When the idea again was encountered by the people, they shunned it. However, people started to explore the ideas, and they could not deny the proof. Nicolause Copernicus started a revolution, a scientific revolution. This is a scientific revolution that lasted hundreds of years. This revolution did not end until 1998. And we still use the knowledge that Copernicus has presented us today.